right, sir. You're gonna need your cup.
Oh, okay. Let me try to do this. All your fans are gonna think you're stupid. You gotta figure this out. Which one do I look at? This one?
Either one, whatever you feel like. Fuck and stay.
There you go.
Okay,
yeah.
I'm Lola Menthol. What's up? I'm here with Cøzybøy. Just a second ago, you were asking me about me and my name and why Lola Menthol. So, same question to you. Why Cøzybøy?
Well, why don't you say why Lola Menthol?
Because Lola Menthol, minty fresh, fresh to death. You already know. That's my answer.
Wow, that's way better than anything I could come up with for my name.
I don't believe that.
Yeah, no, I go by Cøzybøy. I really like to cuddle.
And it seems that you kind of dress super cozy too. Is that for the brand or that's just you?
I guess it's like if I'm gonna be like less like cheeky, like yeah, like I think with Cøzybøy, like I always love like big jackets and I'm always like cold. So I like being warm, I like being cozy. But I also thought it was cool to have this name that was like Cøzybøy, but really it kind of has like my music is very like dark and deep and I feel like it's very intimate and it's like one of those things where it's like Cøzybøy sounds so kind of cute and almost wistful to some degree, but the music is actually dark and kind of a lot about like losing your innocence rather than maintaining it. So I think that just like the juxtaposition of the name with the subject matter, which brings a lot of power.
Yeah, you mentioned your music being dark. So what is the inspiration behind, like when you go to write, when you go to make music, where do you pull from and like what's the inspiration before you actually start bringing it to life?
I mean, everything is personal experience. Like sometimes I'll write about like things I've heard friends go through, you know, stuff I've experienced as a kid. But I mean, yeah, most of it is fucked up relationships I get myself into, and some of the not fucked up ones. You know, just growing up and trying to figure it out, trying to be yourself. And you know, I'm kind of like I can be very quiet sometimes, and I'm very in my head all the time, and I overthink. And, you know, I think a lot of people, especially these days, you know, you kind of struggle from some anxiety and depression. The darkness comes from that. It just comes from, you know, these thoughts and these experiences and how they just sort of like physically and emotionally manifest into your being. And for me, it became my therapy to write and to create music and like sonic soundscapes. Like I also produce most of my music. It just allows me to really get my true feelings out. You know, it's saved me from a lot of things to be able to do that.
That's the beautiful part about music and art in general, right? It's a therapy,
Love
a means to get out those dark and heavy emotions and not take it out on yourself and others, but put it into something productive and something that could further inspire and motivate other people that happen to come across it.
And the best point, even you saying that, is like besides it being my own form of like therapy and way to just get my own thoughts out, like when I get those messages of like, you know, your music saved my life, or like I'm going through a breakup right now and my music is what helps them see the next day or get through that situation, or you know, allows them to sort of mentally overcome some situation. Like besides the fact that it's my own therapy, that is the next best thing that I feel like I can experience, is when my therapy can become other people's therapy.
Absolutely, and as an artist, a fellow artist.
Fellow artist. You also make music.
Yeah, I do, and that's definitely one of the driving forces for me to continue to share it, because this shit gets super vulnerable. We tap into like very, very personal subject matters, and for me to share it, I'm like basically opening up a diary and being like, yo, what's up everyone? This is me and my issues, my problems. So was it hard for you to kind of find the courage to be vulnerable in that way, or is this just something that you were able to do, like share your thoughts and feelings openly, or was there a struggle there?
I think it's a bit of a yes and no, but before we even go to that, like during the show, the second song I performed was called I Won't Hurt You, and it took me a really long time to be able to even perform that song, because it was like something I wrote. It was one of my favorite songs. It was just really vulnerable, and it like hurt a lot to listen to it. Just like the situation I had written it about was just like, it was a lot for me, I guess, in that sense. And like it took me a while. Like I probably had that song sitting for like 6 to 9 months before I felt like I could even like perform it. So it's like it is vulnerable and it is hard. It is hard to put yourself out there. I didn't show anybody my music. I was always making music. I always loved music. I think I did filter myself a lot. Then I remember when I started writing Cøzybøy songs, and they weren't Cøzybøy songs at all. I'd actually told, I had another project, and it just like, I just got bored with it, and I just didn't know what to do. I was very lost in life.
Give me one night to hold you. I'll do my best not to cause you. I know I do this all the time. Oh yeah.
It was like a lo-fi indie project, but not lo-fi in the way lo-fi is today. Yeah, so like I just kind of fell out of love with it, and I didn't know what to do, and I just started writing these songs, and I told everybody in my life that I quit making music and I was done, and like I was just, I just don't make music anymore. But really, I was like writing all these songs, and before I dropped my first Cøzybøy song, I remember this because I didn't name them, I just numbered them. So I got to 77, and the first song I ever dropped, which was I Swear, was 67.
Okay.
So I dropped them all out of order too, which is funny because sometimes people will be like, oh, I like your old sound, or I like this and that. And I was like, you didn't realize that like the order in which I dropped the songs was like 67, 75, 150, and then back to 84, and then back to 60, you know what I mean?
Why did you do it that way?
I think it had to do with storytelling. Like, I'm a really big storyteller, and I just love like the idea that there's some cohesiveness to things. Like, I always have to have a reason. Like, if you ask me, which could be exhausting, but like I have a reason for everything that I feel like I do. Like, I respect and admire like the artists that are just like, oh no, I just felt it and did it. Like, I was never able to do that. Like, I have way too much anxiety and I overthink everything. So like,
kind of like strategizing every move that you make and making sure.
Not necessarily strategize, but like artistically tell a story. You know what I mean? Like, not like strategy. Like, I need to do this and then this, but like it just has to mean something more, and like the meaning has to always stack up on top of the previous meanings. You know what I mean? Which is why like I love like even like playing with my brand, or like I'll name drop myself in a song, and like I'll make it apparent that like, you know, I'm sort of like Cøzybøy is really a project of satire. You know what I mean? And, like a satire on like relationships and even like toxic masculinity and like, you know, the male psyche, and even the female psyche to some degree. I'm not a female, but you know what I mean? And you know, everywhere in between, right? To actually answer your question is, I told everybody I quit making music. I started writing all these raw thoughts down and all my out-of-pocket ideas and whatever. And then when I was dropping music, I still didn't even tell people. I probably had like a few million plays before I even told pretty much anybody in my life that I was Cøzybøy and whatever.
Oh, okay.
And then it was a reverse, where now I was like, oh, I have this song with like 3 million plays out, you know what I mean, and has a very explicit song title, and now I'm like telling friends and people, this is me, and I'm like starting to play shows now and stuff, and like I can't hide behind my own anonymity of like, and it's like I put my face on the internet and stuff, I just didn't tell people in my real life.
Gotcha.
So I had fans online and stuff like that, but nobody who knew me in real life that also knew my music. There's maybe like 2 people, you know what I mean? But it was like I just did it because I really did it for myself, which I would say is like that's one thing that's really good. Like, I think if you're an upcoming artist, or if you're making art in general, you should always make art for yourself. And some people have an easier time doing that when no one's watching them, and some people it doesn't matter. For me, it did matter, and I had to sort of build this little brainchild out before I even felt comfortable to tell people. And then it was a whole other thing where I was like, wait, you're writing this? Like, what's up with this lyric? And I'm like, well, you know, and then, or whatever. Now I don't give a fuck. I put a lot of time and effort into, you know, performance and what I wanted Cøzybøy to be, and like I very much like care about branding and aesthetic. You know what I mean? I want it to be instantly recognizable. If you hear my voice, I think, you know, I don't think I have the best voice in the world, but I think it's instantly recognizable. You know what I mean? And I think like my branding, the O's, you know what I mean, and everything has meaning, but it's just recognizable. And I think that's really like important to me. I just doubled down on all that stuff. I think even my performance is unique in some ways. And maybe you could disagree or agree, but
no, I'd say it's pretty distinct.
Distinct.
Yeah,
exactly.
I would say the sound is very distinct, and when
doesn't mean it's amazing and doesn't mean it's horrible, but it's distinct.
If you can recognize it, that was the point.
Exactly.
Like, you hear Cøzybøy wherever you go, and you'll just know. Like, that's a Cøzybøy song. We can go on to our next location. We're shooting a little photo shoot, so we'll catch you in like a few seconds.
See if you can do so like keep it with these slow lights. Let those pretty blue eyes follow something. I know you're trying to check twice.
Coobies. So I told you his name was Barry, but you'll hear me call him a lot of different things.
Like what?
Like Coobies or Coos, Coosy.